I got a job as a private investigator.
With who?
A company out in Ballincollig in Cork, yeah. Doing surveillance on people who had suspected fraudulent insurance
Okay,
claims.
not like fucking cheating husbands and stuff.
Oh, I did one job.
Did you?
I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Dude, tell us about
I'll tell you about that. Don't you worry about it. I'm still on the case 20 years later. We still don't know if he's cheating or not.
ongoing.
He's getting married next week. But anyway, so basically my old fella got me a job. I was useless.
Right.
So when I left school, all my mates were going to UCC. What are you doing? You know, people would be like, oh, I'm going to UCC now, I got 420.
Yeah.
I'm going to do arts. I'm like, you're going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm off to fucking UCL to do engineering or whatever. Like, so I got a job. I was working in the Maryborough House Hotel.
Yeah.
And
fancy spot.
and I worked there since I was 16, you know, in the summers. And it was hard work, and I did it for about 3 months. Anyway, I think the parents had a meeting or something. And they were like, I did so bad in the Leaving Cert, I couldn't even get into the army. No, there's nothing wrong with being in the army, but I couldn't even get nautical science, which was like 280 points. Like, even the sea didn't want me. Like, you know, I'd nowhere to go. Like nautical science was 280 points. It was the first one you could get to go to a college.
Right, the lowest one.
The lowest one you could get in, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get into that. And so I got this job. Somebody did me a favour and got me in, like, doing admin, office admin, and, you know, filing and stamping letters through the franking machine and
licking envelopes.
Oh, I was there when people were smoking in offices. That's how far back. Like, I'm a young fella. Like, I remember, like, that was only in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And they were smoking away, like, and I went in anyway, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Couldn't cope with it, and I was messing. You know, I was messing around.
Yeah.
Like, so they had this investigations department where they would do. So, for example, if you had a crash now, right, and you were claiming 80 grand for a bad back, and on your claim form, you would say you can't do anything, you can't leave the house. It's impacted your mental health. You've put on you can't go to the gym and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
By the time that claim gets processed, it could take 2 years, right? But in that 2 years, they'll just have somebody to go and have a look at you, just see what you're up to. And if we catch you playing five-a-side or playing GA, but that means then your premium, Johnny, has gone up. Because
You're trying to explain it away now, yeah?
See your point?
Yeah.
So I remember when I was 19, I paid 3 grand for car insurance.
Yeah.
That was enough for you.
And that was because there was fellas out there lying.
Yeah.
And now, can I just say that not every person we investigated was lying.
Yeah.
There was some. We would just check to make sure that what they're saying is true.
So where would you have to go? Like, would you go five-a-side games now?
You do Cork. No, so what we do is, I remember, I'll give you a couple of jobs. I was doing a fella in Limerick. Right? And there was always 2 of you.
So you were only young at this stage?
19, but they were like, sure, he's perfect. Sure, who's going to suspect a 19-year-old?
This is true, lad. Yeah.
Together, like. Now, people think it's Hawaii 5-0, you're jumping over cars, you know. No, you're not. Like, we had Minolta cameras. This is before smartphones.
Right.
So we'd no Snapchat or anything like that, or Instagram. So we would turn up, say Johnny's claiming 80 grand, right? So I find out he lives in number 27 Care Road, whatever. So we get the details, your name, your address, your occupation as broadcaster or whatever, and we'd turn up at around 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd get to his house and we'd see there's a car in the drive. We'd say, right, whatever it is, say if it's a Ford Fiesta, we take the reg down. We say, right, we think that's Johnny's car now, but who's Johnny living with? Like, is Johnny living with a wife, kid? He's living with one of the lads? Does he have kids? We don't know any of his background. So we'd wait until 6, 7 in the morning till you get up, see where you're going. Now, you mightn't even leave the house because you're so injured. But I went up to Limerick. We were doing this fella in Limerick, and he lived on a plot of land out of a country road, so there was no way we could get in. So we got in, and we walked down the drive at 5 in the morning.
Oh, man.
And we got the regs. There was 2 cars, so we didn't know which car was which. Was one his or one his wife, or who was he living with?
Yeah.
Was he living with his parents? We didn't know.
Yeah.
But he had a massive garden out the back, so we decided that I'd go and sit in the garden. Right? This is true now, right? So I walk around the back, big, like half an acre, like. So I go and I sit in the garden. I'm in camouflage gear.
Fuck off.
Stop.
6 o'clock in the morning. I'm at 6 o'clock in the morning. The other fella's on the main road. He's in a car. So what happens is, because he's such a big plot of land, he could come out the back,
right?
Yeah.
and do the washing. He could, he could go.
He'd be cutting grass.
Could be cutting grass. Like you have to take it all into
Were you
account.
hiding in trees or long
Yeah,
grass
I'm
or
up
what?
the back. Yeah, but I was so far away. Like, I mean, you just sit there.
Sitting in the grass.
Stakeout.
You just sit there, I had a tinfoil bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting about 6 tomorrow. I'm freezing. Now we have a little radio, we've mobile phones as well. And I'm like, 6:20, no movement. 6:40, no movement. 6:50, the fucking light goes on, lads. We're like, we're off, lads. We're good to go. And he opened the back door. 2 fucking dogs ran out to go to the toilet. I'm just sitting there going, oh, jeez. The dogs run out, they're sniffing.
Yeah.
No, they didn't come near me. But I shat myself. I thought the dogs would come up.
Yeah.
Come up the back.
Yeah.
You know the way the dogs get released in the morning, they're going to the toilet and they're sniffing and it's a bit damp as well. And I'm thinking if they can smell, like they can smell when there's something different, something not right, and they could start barking. Now, luckily, they didn't kind of come up close, and I was just sitting there. I had the tin foil. I just finished the sandwich, so you could still probably smell the bacon and the sausages,
wafting in the air.
So anyway, your man comes out. He's in a dressing gown, and I'm just like snapping away, So now we know what he looks like.
Right.
So this is before Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you know on Facebook you just type in Johnny B, Johnny's Max, look at a big head in him. But we didn't know any of that back then.
Yeah.
So then I'd radio through like, 6'1", blonde, glasses. We're like, right, that's grand. Once we know what he is now. And then 9, 10 o'clock, he might pop out, go down to the shops or whatever, and then he'd get into the car and my fella then would follow him, And then he'd radio to me, we've stopped in the town centre there, and he's snapping him away. And we did this fella in Limerick, and we followed him, and followed him a bit too well, to the point where he found out that we were following him. So the private investigation was now public. You know what I mean? So anyway, he copped us.
Right.
But you got to remember, their solicitors would be tipping them off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're saying, listen, just so you know now, this is going to take 18 months for this claim to process, so you need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying what you're supposed to be is wrong with you and it's not wrong with you,
You better do it,
and you get caught, you could be done for fraud.
Fucking hell, yeah, seriously.
See what I'm saying? So it's a high risk game.
Fucking hell.
So we called him and he knew we were clocking him, so he starts going round in circles.
Fuck off.
Right? So he rings the police, rings the guards.
Says I'm getting tailed.
Rings the guards, and about 3 hours later I get a phone call from my mother in Cork.
No.
Why is a special branch around my house? So he didn't know who we were.
Yeah.
He takes my reg. He rings the guards, gives them my reg. The guards go to my registered address, which is my mother's house. My mother's there in the address going, why the fuck is the guards here with guns? So they have to. My mother's had to go, oh no, he's a private investigator, he's fucking shite. You know what I mean? So you go back to the investigations company and say, we've been done.
Rumbled.
Yeah, so if we have any sense that they think that they know that we've been rumbled, we get out.
Yeah.
No confrontation, you just drive. I think we're done, let's get out. So he's now shot himself. He's rang the guards thinking we're about to rob him.
Yeah.
The guards have to go back to him and say, oh no, they're private investigators. Do you have a claim in? So his eyes have lit up.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And it just goes round and round and round and round. And we did loads of jobs, and it's a very boring job.
Yeah.
It wasn't very boring. We did a pub, one pub. So fellas nicking from tills in the pubs.
Oh.
Right. Fucking
But fellas are stealing from businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd hate
But
some fella.
I did that job for 9 months, and it was the worst job I've ever had.